Hi, Cathy.
Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks ever so much for letting me catch up with you just for a couple of minutes to talk about your keynote slot at the Northeast TA conference in November 21.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I know you earlier on we had a meeting and you showed me a spider diagram on your desk. I think it might even be in front of you.
Oh, yes.
Of the sort of ideas. Yeah.
I'm doing that because there's all sorts of other notes on it as well at the moment.
There's your shopping list as well. And
there's a couple of other bits on there.
Don't forget to get Marmite and a toothpaste. So what I'd love to ask you really is, can you give us a little bit of a sense or a feel of what the content of your keynote might be about?
Yeah, happy to. Well, actually, of course, it might change between now and then, but the way I'm thinking about it at the moment is I'm going to tell two stories. And they're both very personal stories about connection and disconnection, actually, as that's the topic of the theme of the conference. And in those stories, or after those stories, I want to talk about what I've called the ABC of grief. So A stands for aftermath, B is bonds, and C is about compassion. And some of the things I want to talk about are, some people will be familiar with, like the aftermath. Some TA people will kind of go, oh, hang on a minute, isn't that the OK Corral? Yeah, it kind of is, but tweaked in terms of bereavement. And thinking about, or inviting people to think about how they are with clients who may be disconnecting and connecting with different aspects of themselves after a loss, and then thinking about the different bonds that they may have with the person who died and what gets in the way of the continuing bond. There's something I've called a hostage bond. I've kind of pinched George Colreiser's term. He talks about hostage at the table, and I've come up with this idea of a hostage bond. And so I want to talk about hostage bonds and how they kind of get in the way of grief, get in the way of people processing their grief. So they stay in a stuck place, or part of the process stays stuck.
It sounds absolutely fascinating, and we don't want to make any assumptions. You've published a book in the last 12 months, would it be, or 18 months? Yeah,
it was in May.
May
came out.
Yeah. And my understanding is that that's about parents and siblings and how their lived experience of bereavement and loss of child and sibling, I think.
Yeah. It contains quite a lot of story. Well, it contains a lot of stories. The first part of the book is mainly stories of people's lived experiences, because they're so valuable. We don't often get that opportunity, do we? I mean, I know we do when we see clients. We do have a wonderful opportunity to hear their story. But if the client's sitting in front of you, it's the first time you've ever had to consider the death of a child, it can be a bit shocking and like you don't know quite what to say. Whereas these stories, part of the book is also inviting people to think about their reactions to the stories. What's their counter-transferential response to the story, and how might that influence how they work, and that sort of thing. So
I absolutely love the book, and I was so excited to see the structure of it. At the front there's very much this dynamic lived experience, narratives and stories, and then at the second bit gets technical, and there's lots of theory and lots of theoretical ideas, and really each in lovely little sections that are bite-sized that you get your teeth into. I felt really encouraged by that structure, and we're very excited to have you coming and talking at the conference and pulling some material out of that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Something just to remind you and me as well is that the conference is very much open to counsellors, psychotherapists, therapists, as well as other fields of TA, so that we tend to have about half the people who come are counsellors from different modalities and person-centred.
Yeah.
Will there be that something for them there as well?
Yeah, this is, it's really interesting. This is not a TA workshop. Sorry, keynote. I'm doing a workshop later, aren't I? This is not about TA. Actually, there is some theory that I'll talk about, but it's more general kind of theory about bereavement and grief and that sort of thing. So, yeah, people who come, no matter what modality they come from, they will be able to use what I'm talking about with their clients. Yeah, because I'm one of the things about the book, it started off being a bit of a TA book in a sense, because that's my home, and then I also felt very constrained by it, and it's like, no, I want this to go to a wider audience. I want members of the public to read this book.
Yes.
So, bereaved parents, I want bereaved parents to read this book and to get a flavour of other people's experiences, because I think that can be so helpful. And also to be able to use like the models that I've put, but not in a way that you have to have prior knowledge of what they might mean.
Sure.
So, no need to talk about ego states or things like that. There is actually, I tell a lie, there is one TA concept in there, which is the drama triangle.
Oh, okay.
In the book.
And that's pretty well known by many other fields, isn't it?
Exactly. But actually, I've come up with a new model, which I've called the arena of awareness, which is sort of an extended version of the winner's triangle.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
That's a Cathy thing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We'll put a link into Amazon and your book in and around this conversation. So as people do, it'll be down there somewhere. And really encourage people to have a look at it and buy it as well. We encourage you to buy the book.
Oh yes, please do. And if you like it, please put a review on. That helps, because then Amazon start promoting it themselves, which is nice.
Hooray! Cathy, thank you for your time. We'll leave it there. And,
you're brilliant.
And I wish you well.
Thank you very much. I was going to say you're brilliant, but you are. So yeah, thanks very much, Andy.
Cheers.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.